Hello students, in today's session we will discuss how to analyze the axial forces in the truss members. Now in the last session we have discussed that members of the trusses always carry axial forces, they never carry or not allowed to carry bending moment or moment, or we will say they never allowed to get bent, right? We have joined them with the pin joints and they carry axial forces which may be a compressive force or can be a tensile force. They carry the forces along their axis. Now how to calculate or how to analyze those forces, that we are trying to understand in today's session. In this we are utilizing or we are using all the concepts of mechanics, where we understood that every member carry forces, and if it is an inclined direction we are before going for that, I will say you must remember the equilibrium equations. What is the equilibrium equations? How do we use them? Because those equilibrium equations are helpful to understand this problem. Now in the background you can see there is one truss. Sorry that image is little blurred, but I hope you have gone through my previous sessions, and in that I have shown you this truss along with its loading. Many times we have seen that before in the earlier videos, right? Now in this truss, whatever loading you can see, these are on the panel points. Panel points are, if you want to see here, this is your panel points, okay? And at this panel points you have a loading force of 2.55 kilonewton. Okay, everywhere you have a 2.55 kilonewton. But at the end supports, at the end panel point, you have here, you can see it is 1.27. On the other hand also you have 1.27. So you have to remember this, how it has happened, why the forces exactly happen on the end panel points, that we have already discussed and understood in the load calculation, right? Now the question is, if the loading is coming upon like this on our truss, how the forces will carry by these members of a truss, by these members of a truss. How do these members carry the force? Are they carrying compression or are they experiencing tension force? What is the kind of force? What is the nature? And what is the magnitude of those forces? That we are trying to understand with the help of equilibrium equation. In the last session I have discussed that there can be a you can define your structure in the terms of determinancy as indeterminate structure and determinate structure. The structure which you can solve with the help of three equilibrium equations. That structure is called as a determinate structure. You can call it as a determinate structure, but the structure which you can't use or which can't be analyzed or solved by using equilibrium equations, only the three equilibrium equations, then you can say it is indeterminate structure. Even I said if the three equilibrium equations are not sufficient, we required additional equation for analyzing the number of unknowns. For that we will use compatibility equation. What I said, I am using compatibility equations to solve the indeterminate structure. So this is all the background. Now I am using these equilibrium equations to analyze the truss members with joint method. Now what is joint method? See here. Here in this truss I have taken this support. Let's suppose I have taken this support, and at this support your members are extending towards the next joint. Next joint is, this is your A support, this is your D joint, this is your L joint. Now moving towards D and L, you have moving towards what? From A to D and from A to L, you have members, and these members carry forces, right? They are supposed to carry forces from external force coming, or transfer the forces coming from the externally, which is 1.27, right? Now what is the force they have taken? How many forces taken by that single member? What kind of that force? Is it compression or is it tension? That we are analyzing with joint method. How and why we are called it as a joint method? See, I am utilizing single joint. cutting down my whole truss into the joints. What I said, I am taking down the specific joint out of my whole structure. In this whole structure, you have many joints. You have many joints like L, N, sorry, this is N, L, O, P, Q, R. Many are there. This is the joint, this is the joint, this is the joint. There are many joints you have in your truss. But to analyze, we are moving joint by joint. We will analyze first joint which has the minimum number of unknowns. What do you mean by minimum number of unknowns? The joint at which there will be a number of unknowns less than or equals to 2. Why less than equals to 2? Because you have only 3 equilibrium equations. How many equilibrium equations you have? 3 equilibrium equations. Out of that, the moment equation, summation of moment equals to 0 at particular point is equals to 0. That equation is not applicable for truss analysis. That equation is not applicable for truss analysis. And if that equation is not applicable, how do we go ahead? Then you have to use only 2 equations. What are those 2 equations? Summation fx or summation fy and summation of moment. Summation fx, summation fy and summation of moment. These 3 equations you have. Out of this, summation fx and summation fy are we can use them. But summation of moment is not applicable for truss because we haven't, what I said, you allow these joints which are pin joints, these different joints you have in your trusses, they are pin joint. And if you are using pin joints, those joints are allow a rotation. And if there is if you allow free movement or a free rotation, there will not be a development of moment, right? And that's why here the summation of moment you cannot use, right? Now next is this analysis by joint method. Now we have only 3, you understood, we have only 2 equations to analyze any joint. The 2 equations are summation of fx and summation of fy. Clear here? Then next is which joint to consider, which joint I am supposed to consider and how I will move ahead. So see here, you have, I am taking down this first joint. Okay, I haven't taken it because it is the earlier or it is the first joint on our truss. No, the selection criteria is not that. The selection criteria is you have to check that at that particular joint how many number of unknowns are supposed to be calculated and how many number of unknowns are present. On the basis of that, you choose your joint. So here in this case, you have 2 unknowns. See here, how 2 unknowns? Here you have support reaction VA. In the last session, we have calculated VA. How we calculated VA or support reaction? All the downward forces will be equals to all the upward forces. What I said, all the downward forces will be equals to or will be balanced by upward forces on trusses, right? All the downward forces coming on our truss will be balanced by all the upward forces. Upward forces, we have only 2 forces. So at one reaction at support A, other reaction at support B. These are the only 2 upward forces acting in my truss, right? Then what are the different downward forces acting on my truss? There are many forces on the roof of our truss externally acting in the downward direction. So those all forces will be divided or taken by these 2 supports, and that's how we calculated support reactions VA and VB. Clear? So we understood 2 things. First is we have 2 equilibrium equations to solve any joint. Second, moment equation is not applicable for analysis of joint of a trusses. Third, select the joint which has number of unknowns less than equals to 2. Fourth, how we calculated reactions? We have calculated reaction by balancing total downward force equals to total upward force. But this third or fourth criteria which I said is only applicable if truss is symmetrical. If the truss is not symmetrical, you have to go for moment equation as well. You have to go for what? Moment equation as well, right? So far clear until this. Now come to this joint A. So we have already calculated VA. We know the external force acting upon it, that is 1.27. Horizontal force is 0 because there is no horizontal reactions, or lateral forces are not acting on our truss. Whatever forces are coming in the lateral direction, those are wind forces, and we have taken down wind force calculations separately. We will analyze it separately. Okay. Now, then how many unknowns are present at this joint? The number of unknowns will be 1 in this direction. Let me draw it again. 1 in this direction and other one is in this direction. Right. So number of unknowns are 2. Others are known to us. If this horizontal and inclined forces are supposed to solve and analyze, or this joint supposed to solve and analyze by joint method, then we should resolve the forces. What is resolving the forces means? What does it mean? You already understood it and learned it from the mechanics. Resolving of forces is nothing but resolving our resultant force into 2 directions. Which are 2 directions? In one in perpendicular or vertical direction, one in horizontal direction. How we do that? See here, like this. This is the inclined force with the degree of 18.43. But inclined force we cannot analyze with summation of Fx and summation of Fy. So I have resolved my inclined force into horizontal and perpendicular direction, right? And if I have analyzed my forces in if I resolved my forces in horizontal, like this, horizontal and vertical direction, then I can use summation of Fx and summation of Fy to analyze my truss, right? So come to this A joint now. I have separate analysis over here for joint. Okay. See here, I haven't taken the joint B, but I am starting from the other end. I have started from the other end, this B joint. At the B joint, same thing is happening. See here, because my truss is symmetrical above vertical axis. Yes. Sorry for the interruptions. If I go to the B joint, what happens to B joints here? In the B joint, same thing is happening. Why? Because my truss is symmetrical above vertical axis. See here, if you see my truss at this vertical axis, on the both the sides, on left and right hand side, from the left and right hand side, your truss is balanced, or instead I will say your truss is symmetrical. Whatever happening on left hand side, the exactly mirror of it is happening on the right hand side, and that's why I said my truss is symmetrical. And if my truss is symmetrical, I can analyze it in the same way how I did on the left hand side. You can repeat same on the right hand side. How I said, on the A support you have known the reaction at A support was known. Similarly, reaction at B support is known to us. We already calculated that. Then this is the upward vertically downward force acting at that support, that is known to us, which has a magnitude of 1.27. Then what is remaining? This inclined force and this horizontal force. Okay, the inclined force is called as this inclined force is resolved into one vertical and one in horizontal direction, like this way and this way. Okay, one vertical and one in horizontal direction. This is what we call resolution of forces. Okay, that same joint I'm reflecting downward. See here. Yes, let's take this on the hand. Here you can see I have taken the joint B. Okay, and what I said, this truss is symmetrical at the vertical axis. That's why whatever happens on the B side, you can repeat it on A side. Okay, now joint B. At joint B, this is your joint B. At this joint B, vertical force acting is what? Reaction at support B. It is reaction at support B, B, B. What is reaction at support B, B? It is same on A and B, because all the upward forces will be balanced by these two supports, and these two supports will take a equal magnitude whatever coming from the top side. I hope you understand this logic. Now this VB is calculated 12.79. You have a calculation about, I will send you a PDF, you will get from there also. So we know that VB is carried force equals to 12.79, and the vertically downward force acting at that B joint is how much? 1.27 is 1.27. See here, 1.27. That is what? External dead load acting at that point. Whatever forces we have shown on our roof is what? Those are the dead load calculations. Those are the dead load calculations. We have done the dead load calculation earlier in the previous videos earlier of this truss analysis part. Now we know that at panel point and at the end support, the dead load acting on my roof is 1.27. Okay, clear that? Okay. Now next is, this is the inclined member, that is member of your truss. Okay, in this member I am resolving my force, because this member is carrying what? Axial forces, right? And I am resolving that axial forces into horizontal and vertical direction. How I did that? One in the vertical direction, one other in the horizontal directions. Clear up to this? Once you got these forces, you are supposed to design force in sine and theta, you can say you're supposed to write these forces in the terms of angle. Which angle? This angle, because this is the inclined force acting at some joint, and this inclined force you resolve into horizontal and vertical directions. But while resolving, you're supposed to write that forces into terms of angle of or degree of this angle. How we did that? On this side of force, see here, we will zoom it. Yes. Now on the side of force means what? See here, the force which is acting on the side of angle 18.43, that I am taking as a cos theta, that I will take it as a cos theta. Okay, so my force will be force BK into cos theta, BK into cos theta, right? Now same in this vertical direction, my force will be force BK into sine theta. What I said? Force BK into sine theta. And what will be theta? 18.43. What will be theta? 18.43, right? Now everything is clear to us. Now we have resolved inclined force, horizontal force. We have, this is the horizontal member at joint B. This is the inclined. Right? Now everything is clear to us. Let's go for the equilibrium equations. Or else we will do like this. Okay. Yes. See here now. Here you can find force like this. First summation Fy I am taking. Okay, first equilibrium equation I have chosen is summation Fy. In this summation Fy equals to 0, I am summing down. I am doing a summation for all the vertical forces in my joint. So at this joint, what are the vertical forces? This is the vertically upward force, and I am taking vertically upward force positive. Okay. Then vertically downward force, I will take it in the negative. The value will be negative. Vertically downward force will be negative. Okay. Now vertically upward force, one more force I have, which is upward in direction, and the value of it will be positive. Is there any other forces which are acting in vertical direction, vertically downward, or maybe in the upward direction? It is okay. But is there any force which is left and which is acting in the vertical direction? No. All rest of the forces are in the horizontal directions. Clear? So let's add these forces. Summation of Fy. First was 12.17. 12.7, and that is in vertical direction, positive, therefore vertically upward in direction. This is vertically downward, and that's why it is negative, minus 1.27. Then FBK sine 18.43. FBK sine 18.43 is what? This is vertically upward force. FBK sine 18.43 equals to 0. Now solve this equation. You have this numerical value, take that on other hand and find FBK. That's what I did. FBK equals to what? Minus 36.17 Newton. I hope you are able to do this with the help of your calci, right? Only to solve this equation. But how to develop that equation is a conceptual part. And you did this many times in analysis of structure, as well as you did this in the mechanics. So I hope you are very good with this kind of equations. Now I am utilizing my second equation, which is summation of Fx. Summation of Fx will be how? I have to take down all the horizontal forces. How many horizontal forces are there? There are only 2 horizontal forces, and those forces can be written as both are moving on the negative axis of my graph. Okay, those are on the negative x axis, and that's why both force FBT will be in a minus, comes with the minus sign, and force BK into cos 18.43 also comes with the minus sign. If you solve this, put the value of BK over here in this equation. Put the value of BK, because BK we already solved. Put that value now. Here is the case. My value in this FBK is minus 36.17, right? It is negative. So you have 2 choices. What those 2 choices? First choice is that here this negative signs indicates that the direction of my force is wrong, or you can say it is reversed in direction. What direction I have assumed? I have assumed BK is in away from the joint. I have assumed it away from the joint, or you can simply say you have assumed it in the tension form. Okay, I have assumed it in the tension form. Force BK. Which force I have assumed? Force BK I have assumed in the tension form. Okay, earlier assumption to cut any joint. See here, you have you have truss like this, right? This is your joint V. B is acting at, this is your B joint. VB is acting vertically upward. Vertically downward is 1.27. This is the member FBK, and this is the member FBT. This is BT and this is FBK. Okay, if FBT and FBK I'm taking in the joint analysis, how I did that? By I have cut this joint or I have cut this member at certain distance. Okay, at very small distance I have cut that member and I have taken that in the analysis. this much part of FBK, this much part of FBT, this is vertically upward force, vertically downward force. That's how my joint arrangement for analysis I have made. Okay.